Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of my physical transformation journal. Before we get started today, I'd just like to give a huge shout out to everyone who showed such immense support for me in episode 1. The feedback has been immense. A lot of people sending me very encouraging messages, showing their support. It's been a crazy week of just positive feedback, and I wholeheartedly appreciate it. It's really spurred me on to, deliver more content and to, give you these videos. So I couldn't thank you enough. I hope to see you all a lot more in the future. And yeah, I hope you enjoy episode 2. So thank you and enjoy. So I thought I'd kick things off in episode 2 by refreshing your memories a little bit. Let's go back to when I started, which is January of this year, beginning of January to be specific. And this picture, this is literally my starting point of my journey. Back before I started, I was actually going through all sorts of like fad diets and cookie cutter programs, trying to figure this thing out for myself. But I was kind of sick of doing things half-heartedly or becoming very discouraged halfway through. So I actually enlisted the help of Coach Papas. He goes by the handle the Greek underscore Spartan on Instagram, and he's literally been my coach for this whole journey so far. He's been instrumental in guiding me along the right path, taking the right steps, coaching me. And not only has he been coaching me, he's also been teaching me so much stuff in becoming a better coach myself. So he's literally a coach's coach. The man's literally a walking encyclopedia of knowledge. So, and he's been amazing at answering all the questions I've thrown at him. Always makes time for me. Been amazing, a great experience, and I urge you all to visit his page on Instagram. He posts some great stuff as well. Very knowledgeable stuff. Very interesting stuff. He covers the mental aspects as well as the physical aspects, everything related to fitness and body recomposition. So please hit him up, show him some support. And yeah, I'd just like to give a huge shout out to Coach Papas, because without him I wouldn't be where I am today. So thank you, Coach, and let's get cracking, shall we? So basically, to begin with, Coach Papas had to drill in the idea that there is no such thing as perfection when it comes to body recomposition goals. The main thing that trumps perfection every time is consistency and sustainability. This is basically what you need to have in mind whenever you tackle recomposition goals, whether you're trying to gain muscle, gain weight, or you're trying to slim down or go through a fat loss phase. Your patience is key. It is more important than anything else that I'm about to talk about, which is why I'm mentioning it first. So patience, sustainability, building a habit is the most important thing when it comes to fat loss. And that was the first thing he drilled into my brain. I didn't get it straight away at first. I was too focused on the minute details. I was too focused on being perfect all the time. So it's a big lesson learned. And it has helped me tremendously along the way. The first 2 months or so, it was difficult to try to change my mindset. I was still very much focusing on just all the small details, which was unnecessary because it was driving me crazy and it was actually creating more stress than anything. And you'll see what I mean when I slowly dive into the key aspects that I had to deal with to get started. So with the foundation of forming a habit of sustainability and consistency in mind, I can now delve into what I felt were the 4 biggest factors in beginning my physical transformation journey. Coach Papas wanted me to go into a fat loss phase to begin with. So the idea was to go on a prolonged fat loss phase, get lean enough, then slowly build back up in a building phase, muscle building phase, or mass gaining phase. I am still currently to this day on June 19th, still in a fat loss phase. Just to give you an idea, when we started in this picture, I was around 80 kilograms, and today I am 73. And not to say that the weight on the scale means everything, but that is quite a significant amount of weight lost, and it has taken me around 6 months to do so. So it's around a kilo a month so far. And the only reason I was able to do so was because I was consistently delivering on all 4 factors that I'm about to dive into right now. The first one being my diet, right? So calories. This is calories you can think of as a tool to help me gauge how much food I should be eating from day to day. The difficulty comes from knowing where to start. And back in the day when I didn't have Coach Papas's help, I was so obsessed with getting that number right, whether it's using some online calculator, trying to find the most legitimate way of figuring out what my starting calories should have been. And really, all I had to do was just start. Coach Papas put me on 2,300 calories, 190 grams of protein, 230 to 240 grams of carbohydrates, and around 60 grams of fat. And so I had to hit that consistently for a few weeks, basically, because Coach Papas actually doesn't know what will happen if I eat 2,200 calories. My weight could slowly go up, or it can slowly go down, or it can stay the same. The whole point was to go through that trial and error process to see how I would respond to that calorie number. Next, I'd like to talk about the workout schedule. Coach Papas put me on 5 full body workouts a week. It sounds like a lot, but there is a reason and there is a system to it that makes it a lot more manageable. So the reason for doing 5 full body workouts a week is so that in each session I'm able to work out a part of my body within the same session in a relatively short amount of time, let's say an hour or so. And by doing so, I may be doing maybe 3 to 4 sets each body part. This allows me to recover adequately and to avoid overtraining or any fatigue issues. So if you think about it, I maybe do a set of chest, 3 or 4 sets. Then I move on to legs, quads, 3 to 4 sets. Move on to hamstrings, or back to the upper body, shoulders, for example, 3 to 4 sets. Then I move from body part to body part, get every part trained, so there's a lot of calories to be burnt there, a lot of resistance training stimulus that is offered to the muscles. And then by doing so, I technically can then space myself out and get 5 workouts in and get as much activity in as possible. It didn't really happen like that to begin with. I wasn't necessarily pacing myself. I was so excited to get going, get results. I just went all out to begin with, and I was very fatigued in the beginning phase, like maybe the first week or two, until Coach Papas taught me the very, very important tool of reps in reserve. So reps in reserve basically just means at the end of a set of exercise, how many reps do you still have left in the tank to perform that exercise? So let's say for the push-up, you only can do a maximum repetition of 12 reps. If you stopped at around 10 reps, you would still have 2 reps in reserve. If you stopped at 11, you would have 1 rep in reserve. And this is a great way to gauge your effort through each session. The whole point, like I said, with the foundation of being consistent and sustainable is to not max out, right? Is to pace yourself so that you can go for multiple days of burning consistent calories. If you think about it, if on Monday, let's say on the 5 full body workouts, on Monday I went all out and I went to failure every set, every exercise, I'd probably not be able to do my workout the next day, and I probably won't be able to fit 5 full body workouts into the same week. So that is a very important tool, reps in reserve, right? You always want to stay within, well, it's subjective, but for me, I always stayed within the 1 to 3 reps in reserve. I very rarely hit 0. I always try to stay at 1 rep in reserve. So every set, I would always have 1 repetition left in terms of stamina. This helped me a lot in pacing myself in recovery as well, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. I feel like recovery is a highly neglected topic. I feel like a lot of people don't pay enough attention to it, and they usually run out of gas and stop pursuing their goals because they feel like they're just far too run down mentally or physically or both to continue anymore. So I feel like recovery must be considered, during any fat loss goal, and Coach Papas made that very clear. In the beginning, like I said, during my workouts, I was going pretty much all out, wasn't really pacing myself, but fatigue is a very real thing. One of the keys to recovery, I think, is getting enough sleep. Sleep has been so important for me. When I don't get enough sleep, what I find is that when I wake up, I feel groggy. I don't feel like doing things. I feel tired. My determination to follow my diet is significantly impacted. My desire to work out, my determination takes a huge plummet. So really, recovery is just so important. You want to be able to recover properly. Recover the mind, not just the body, but the mind as well, so that you can go on another day of dieting and another day of going through these workouts, these things that expend energy, that require you to be disciplined. You cannot do this without inadequate sleep. It's tough to hear sometimes. I had to learn it the hard way. I finally was able to fix, my sleeping patterns. It took me a while, but it was totally worth it. And it makes this whole process much easier. And so, sleep is one big thing. How you pace yourself in your workouts, I think, is very much linked to recovery in itself. You go too deep into a workout, or you go too far over the edge, you can't recover right. You can't recover adequately. You become fatigued, you ache all over, you don't want to do anything. Then you have to go and calculate your food, weigh your food. It becomes a huge burden on your mind. And so if you rest well, you prepare yourself a lot better for the next day. And that goes hand in hand with creating a lifestyle of consistency, sustainability, creating a habit in which you can follow, and in which you can actually enjoy a lot more than having to labor through it with inadequate sleep and such. So recovery is paramount. It's so important, just as important as diet, just as important as your workouts. Last but not least, it's activity outside of the gym. So if you think about it, we pretty much only spend an hour or 2 in the gym a day. That's like 5% of your time. The rest of the time, if you have 8 hours of sleep, there's still plenty of time for you to get activity in, move, go for a walk and such. So there should be a system in place to gauge your activity outside of the gym, burning as many calories as you can. So Coach Papas really hones in on my step count, literally my daily step count, and tries to get me to think about moving more outside the gym, getting more work done, trying to move as much as I can so I'm burning more calories. Um, there are many other factors, many other metrics you can follow, but I think step count's easy. We can check our step count through our mobile phones. We always have it in our pockets. You can use a smartwatch that tracks your step count daily. So it's a great way to see whether or not you're putting in that work and moving as much as you can. I also personally believe that step count has a lot to do with recovery, because getting out there and moving after like a difficult, tough day in the gym, it really helps with blood circulation. Helps you to just get out, get some fresh air, move, clears your mind as well. All this stuff I've talked about, the diet, the workouts, the recovery, activity outside the gym. I don't think I can single a single thing out of the four to be the most important thing. I feel like for fat loss goals, it has to be all four together in unison with the foundation of sustainability and consistency for you to hit those goals. So I feel like Coach Papas has helped me understand these things, create a great foundation of knowledge for me just to follow and to adhere to. And it has really, given me some great results so far, which I hope to share with you in the coming episodes. And so there you go. That's how I started. I'll go into more detail in other videos about each step. So, how did I track my calories? What have I been using? What app have I been using, for example, to track? And I'd love to tell you more over time. So stay tuned. And I hope you guys found this helpful, at least, a look into how I started my journey. And so stay tuned for more. Thank you for your support and see you soon.